Welcome to the Undercovers. We are just one day away from kickoff of the 2023 NFL regular season. We're going to break down this week's games, make our game picks, as well as give our season predictions for all the major awards and divisions. And we're also going to catch you up on the latest news around the NFL. Again, welcome to the Undercovers. I'm Ben, and as always, joined by Tommy, Paul, and Jenna. And Jenna, you want to start us off tonight? With some of our breaking news that we had yesterday, which we got a major update on today.
Yeah, ex-Bills wide receiver Mike Williams was involved in a construction site accident, and initially reported it was said that he had passed away, but today we got an update saying that he is on life support right now, and we just want to give a thoughts and prayers, hoping that he pulls through, hoping that his family is okay. Um, I don't know if there's any GoFundMe out there. I know that someone had pointed out, it was Mookie Hawkins that pointed out, don't donate to the GoFundMe that's going around right now because it could be a scam. His mom actually didn't set it up. So be on the lookout for that. We just want him to be okay. That's freaking awful.
It's devastating news. I hope everything, he comes out perfect, fine, and that he can live a normal life after this, and his family's okay.
There was a tweet about how his little 8-year-old daughter visited him, and when he was like kind of like out of it, when he heard their voices, he opened his eyes and he started crying, but he couldn't move.
That's sad. I mean, he's only 38 years old, but it just kind of puts into perspective like how short like an NFL lifespan is, because he was just in the NFL a couple years back, and now he's in construction. He has to do that after the NFL. So it really, we'll kind of talk about it later when we discuss one of the topics, but you look at guys, even Jonathan Taylor, when people say oh, he should just play, but the NFL, your NFL career is quick, and it just goes like that, and you never know what you'll be doing down the line. This is terrible for Mike and his family, so prayers up to him for his a full recovery. But yeah, that post NFL life, it's definitely not an easy easy thing to adjust from once you're done in the NFL.
Yep. Yeah, it's dangerous. Someone said that we're not superheroes, we're not superhuman. You like to think that all these NFL players week to week they're going to be just fine, but then something happens and you're like, oh no, they're an athlete. They can take care of their body. They're going to just revive themselves, rejuvenate themselves. They'll be back week 10. And then post-football life, they're almost like regular guys. They're still doing everything that, us outside people do every day.
Yep.
They're not going to be around forever, unfortunately. They suffer injuries just like us.
Yep.
Work injuries. So it's really unfortunate. I really hope that he pulls through. Yeah, at least in some capacity. We just want him to be alive. And thankfully he is alive right now, as we know of. That he didn't pass away. And we're just really want to give him strength to fight.
Yep.
It kind of brings up a point. I've seen this float around a few times after the off season. It's like when you're in the NFL, they kind of give you everything, right? You get your health insurance and all that, but after the NFL, that goes away. All the funding that they give you during your NFL lifespan is given to you. Now that's is just given. And then
it's like a job,
right?
With your job, your health insurance only stays for as long as you do.
Right.
Yep.
I guess the fight is that and these NFL players, after they retire, they should have this still with them, so that just like things, you see CTE is a big thing, or like these players after their NFL careers, they don't have like the health insurance or
And I
anything.
think just because of like DeMar Hamlin's situation last year, and like the NFL, like the current retirement pension, like you need a certain amount of vested years or whatever. So I think just because of how Hamlin's situation was kind of unique, and he could have like in his second year like been done forever playing football. Like now, thankfully Hamlin is 100%. But I think the next CBA, like that's probably something that will definitely get addressed for sure. Is the insurance or whatnot, and the retirement benefits.
Yeah.
It's certainly, I think it's certainly needed after we know that like post NFL career, like CTE doesn't show up. I know obviously CTE and what Mike Williams is going through is different. It's on a complete different level, but like we just like the big variable after post after you play in the NFL is CTE. And if these players are not like secured with like some sort of health insurance, how can they go and get help for it? Or like, how could they know they have it? Obviously, there's certain variables of it that you might not know until later. But like, these players are just basically in the NFL, then left out to dry.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, that's true. All right, Tommy, you got
I've got some
more news that's broke today.
Injury news that we found out today around like 4:30 that Cooper Kupp has been ruled out for the game Sunday against the Seahawks. So everybody try to get Cooper Kupp out of your fantasy lineups because that's a big name that is on the injury list. And they asked the coach if it's possible that he could land on IR, and he refused to answer that question. So there's a chance that he could be on IR and miss more than 1 week.
Didn't he have to go to like Minnesota to get a second opinion?
Yeah, he had to go to Minnesota.
Yeah,
on that hamstring, and apparently it was bad enough where he would have to miss this game.
I mean, that's like his second hamstring injury.
Young guy too. He's young, still young.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Cooper Kupp. I mean, he was the MVP of that Super Bowl, basically. I mean.
Yeah, he was the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, he was Super Bowl MVP when the Rams won the Super Bowl, and then here he is, kind of like like injury prone now.
Yeah.
I mean, before that, and I mean, he had a couple minor ankle injuries, but he was back and he was able to perform the way he was supposed to, being that superstar that we all thought he was going to be, win the Super Bowl, and now he's filled with injuries. He just doesn't seem to beat the old Cooper Kupp anymore. Maybe he figures out his hamstring injuries and can get that under check, and he can go back to pre-Super Bowl form. But until then, I don't know that's the interesting thing with the Rams, because they're in like a weird spot because they're kind of like half in, half rebuild, half retool. What do we do? We're in LA, so like it's an interesting thing with
the problem is these soft tissue injuries, and like even with another player, Joe Burrow, like I know he's cleared to play week 1, but if I'm a Cincinnati fan, that's something you got to be concerned about, a non-contact calf strain. I mean, I know Kupp had the hamstring, but like these soft tissue injuries are very serious in the NFL.
They linger.
And like they linger, and they don't just go away like that. So like, I mean, honestly, Cooper Kupp, like, dude, I know Tommy, you mentioned the 4-game IR, but like, I wonder, like, I mean, you'd like to think that he plays this year. I mean, given how much he's making and whatnot, like the Rams kind of don't have any other options outside of, really Van Jefferson on offense. But like, just last season, he dealt with injuries all year. He's already injured his hamstring twice, and it's bad enough where he can't even play. Like, I'm not saying he's going to miss the whole season, but like, they're kind of getting into like that dangerous territory where like if they start tanking, if that injury lingers, like I mean, there's a chance he doesn't play like honestly at all this season. Like that might be a super hot take, but something like a hamstring injury that's significant enough to hold him out week 1, and he's already hurt it twice. Like
that's bad.
It's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Not good. Yeah.
It's certainly not good for what. I mean, for at least Matthew Stafford's perspective, right? I mean, like I know they have Van Jefferson and some other receivers, but like these receivers are not. It kind of reminds me, kind of like the interesting parallel I get sometimes. It's like Aaron Rodgers in New York. He has Allen Lazard. I mean, Garrett Wilson, a bunch of other dudes. I mean, here in LA for LA fans, for Chargers fans, it's Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and a whole bunch of other dudes. So, like, if you don't have Cooper Kupp on your team, who is Matthew Stafford throwing to in a primarily pass-heavy offense? So it hurts for what the Rams are trying to do. Kind of being this half in, half out, I don't know type of team that can win 8 games and sneak their way in. Who knows? I mean, without Cooper Kupp, you're certainly not going there.
Yep.
Yeah, I would not really buy stock into the Rams this season. I think they're gonna struggle to win like 7 to 8 games, just given.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, and especially if they don't have Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
We had some other injury news today that ended up, maybe turning into a nothing burger. Micah Hyde, prior to practice, he was ruled out for practice with a back injury and some other issues. But then Coach McDermott has said that. But then a couple beat reporters pointed out that he was practicing today. So that's very notable. Some people, I want to shout out the thigh master, the thigh doctor, thought that it could be a disc issue in his back. So I guess that remains to be seen. We'll see if there's any updates later. But wasn't there a Micah Hyde press conference today? Did he say anything about how he was?
Poyer had a press conference. I don't know if Hyde did.
Yeah, I think it was Poyer.
I have no idea if Hyde did.
Okay. All right. So we'll see. Hopefully he's okay. The fact that he was practicing after given the designation of not practicing, that says something.
Yeah, that's good for sure. Yeah. And then also in the NFC West, besides the Rams, Nick Bosa ends his 43-day holdout and becomes the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. 5 years, $170 million, $122 million guaranteed. So Bosa gets paid. I mean, I think just based off the last 2 seasons, it's well worth it. He had the most sacks in the league last year. I mean, and honestly, that guy terrorizes quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Oh,
he is. I mean, I know White is up there too. So is Micah Parsons. But I think having a elite edge rusher like that to get to the quarterback is invaluable to your defense. And I mean, San Fran showed it. I mean, they were willing to give him those big bucks. I mean, Jets fans, Dolphins fans thought they were gonna get him in a trade because some Reddit user posted some BS about how he's gonna get traded to a mystery AFC team. Well, it's not happening. He's staying in San Francisco, is the highest paid non-quarterback. But one player deserves it, definitely him, and he's only 25. So I mean, he's gonna.
I was gonna ask
at it for a while.
What do y'all think Chris Jones thinks of that deal?
I'll get into what it means for Chris Jones in a minute.
Oh, just a thought there,
Yeah, I mean.
Well, if you look at what the Niners owe their players, in the next couple years. Oh my God, stop it. They owe Christian McCaffrey a bunch of money. George Kittle. I think, did they pay Deebo Samuel?
Yeah, they paid Deebo. They're paying Trent Williams. They're paying Javon Hargrave. They're paying
Fred
Warner.
Yeah.
They're paying a lot.
They're paying a lot of guys for
I
sure.
mean, that's what happens when you have a star players, but it's just, what are you gonna do? So
it was important for the 49ers to pay Nick Bosa.
Mhm.
I mean, you look at we all just spewed out the names that they are signing, but like
Mhm.
the interesting thing is everyone else in the NFL is signing their number one quarterback to big market money. And then here you are, is San Francisco says, hey, we have a team here with Deebo Samuel, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. We're built on defense, but we're also built on think and dunk passing, that we want explosive plays. San Francisco is a uniquely scary team because they're playing with a seventh with the last pick of the 2021 draft. I think he came out, Brock Purdy. So I mean, they're playing with the
Mr.
last
Irrelevant.
pick.
I mean,
So they're playing with the last pick of the 2021 draft. They have Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuels, Christian McCaffrey. They have a bunch of these different players, and for them to sign Nick Bosa, it just improves their team even more for now. And what they're hoping to do is to bring a Super Bowl trophy back to San Francisco.
and when you have the luxury of having like a 7th round rookie as your quarterback, you don't have that high prize QB1 contract. You can definitely afford to pay a little bit extra for some of those contracts and have more premier players, just because you don't have all that money tied up to the quarterback. Now it's going to be interesting, I guess, in 2-3 years, if Purdy keeps balling, how much can you honestly give him? I mean, what does his contract look like? I guess they'll get to that that topic when it happens, but to me, that they're not uniquely scary. They're just a scary team in general. Like, they can attack you in a lot of different ways. I know Purdy isn't your prototypical NFL quarterback, but I mean, he's low-key a gunslinger, and he can make a lot of the throws. He doesn't have the greatest arm, but I would say his arm is still in the range of probably better than Tua's. And I think he also has a little bit more mobility. Like, I know Dolphins fans aren't going to like to hear this take, but in my opinion, if I was starting a team, I would rather have Brock Purdy than Tua. And this is even if both players are fully healthy, notwithstanding injury or anything like that. I just think Purdy is a better player than Tua. Like, it's nothing against Tua Tagovailoa, but I think Purdy is just a better overall player. Like, I know not everyone's a huge – maybe they think it's just the system, but out of all those quarterbacks, like, Purdy is the only one who's really been able to, like, fully execute that system and take it to the next level. So, I mean, to me, they're just a very good team.
I agree.
And that's a good comparison because they both come from the same systems.
Mm-hmm.
Shanahan. Yeah. All right, Paul. What do you got?
Oh, it's another defensive lineman that is currently holding out. Chris Jones, and this team plays tomorrow on the Kansas City Chiefs. He's holding out still. I mean, we have no words on whether this 29-year-old defensive tackle is going to sign. Is he going to hold out? Is he going to hand out Big Macs at a McDonald's? We don't know what the situation in Kansas City is going to be, because here's the thing: if you're in the world of Twitter, most Chiefs fans would be, well, yeah, we're concerned. Yeah, they should be concerned. Then you get the other half of Chiefs Twitter, like, we're completely fine. We have everything rides and dies on Patrick Mahomes because he can play offense and he can play defense, and he can also play some special teams too. So we're fine. We have him. We can win games 35-32. We're good. But the thing is, if you don't have Chris Jones on that defense, I don't think your defense is any good anyways. And if we're going from maybe a top 15, top 20 defense, you're going to a top 20, top 25 defense in a snap because you don't have Chris Jones.
Yep.
Last year he had 15.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and how about this? In the AFC Championship game, and how wild and close that game was, he had 2 important sacks in that game. Patrick Mahomes was struggling a bit. You don't win that AFC Championship game without Chris Jones.
Yep.
And I mean, KC may have even more problems too outside of Jones, right? Like some pretty there was a pretty decent injury development there yesterday.
Travis Kelce, knee sprain. I mean, do we know how long he's going to be out? Could he possibly, just going to say it, could he possibly even land on IR because we don't know how bad this knee strain is? He could possibly miss 4 games. Could he possibly miss 6? Yeah, he could possibly miss 6. Could he possibly miss 14 almost to the entire year? Yes, we don't know. So that's going to be an interesting injury to watch
right
the rest of the year.
Well, I heard it was a bone bruise. I don't know if anyone can verify that. I thought Ian Rappaport tweeted something out about that.
I heard a bone bruise, but like
that's not. I mean, it's not a bad injury, but that's not a. I feel like that's something more. It's just like pain tolerance, right? Like how much you want to be able to do. Like,
especially when you're 34-year-old running.
I mean, it's crazy. Someone tweeted it out yesterday. I think it was Matthew Bove, but put in perspective, Gronk is a year younger than Travis Kelce. And Gronk, and Gronk has been out of the league for some time. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of hard to wrap your head around because like Gronk was like so good so long ago, and like Kelce has been so good so recently. But yeah, that's a wild like factoid.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I might be a medical person, but I can't tell you about a bone bruise. Can't give you any specifics on that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as long as like everything structurally is intact, I mean, but still 34 years old. I mean, they may just have to play him just because like he doesn't have anyone else, or they don't really have a lot of other receiving options. But like, he's not going to be 100% out there with with a messed up knee for sure.
And,
so
if he plays, I don't know if we can guarantee him getting an anytime touchdown. I do have a parlay on that game. So
hopefully it works out.
I would take St. Brown or Gibbs, probably both, honestly.
I actually, so for mine, I took the over. I took the Lions with 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
I took Amon-Ra St. Brown, anytime touchdown. David
Pacheco.
I did take Travis Kelce. I took but this was like a few days ago before the Travis Kelce thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if he doesn't play, it's voided out, and I won't have to worry about it. But surprisingly, I also have a Justin Ross touchdown in there too.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah, so it'd be cool if he got one. I have a feeling that he could. With just the Kansas City offense, they're just like F it. We're just gonna throw the freaking ball.
Don't bet on Rashee Rice though, because I've heard he's looked rough.
Yeah, but who also looked rough in preseason? Jamar Chase.
Oh, that's true. He did look very rough in preseason.
But I don't want Rashee Rice to be good.
But it's funny. I was in a Kansas City space, and like the same thing people say about Bean and his drafting, like the Chiefs fans were saying the same thing about Veach because of some of their recent picks. Like I've heard Eagles fans say that Howie Roseman needs to be fired, which is insane, as well. Like every GM has their misses. Yeah, that's my point. Like every GM has their misses. No one is perfect at drafting. I mean, Bill Belichick is one of the worst talent evaluators / drafters, yet he has 7, 8 Super Bowls actually, but 6, from coaching and team building, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I just think every team has their flaws, but I like Justin Ross tomorrow. That is spicy.
I also have obviously Patrick Mahomes over 300 passing yards, Jared Goff over 256 passing yards. Yeah, I think that's all I have.
All right.
But Travis Kelce, please don't play tomorrow.
Please don't play the rest of the season. Like, just take
Don't
it off.
play until after we
He
play.
should just
have
he
us
should
in a
just
win.
go to become the permanent host of Saturday Night Live or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Work full time on the Kelsey show.
Yeah, New Heights.
Something like that.
Yeah, New Heights. So we covered Travis Kelsey, we covered Chris Jones, we covered the Nick Bosa situation, we gave our thoughts and prayers to Mike Williams, and we talked about Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
Are there any other breaking news around the NFL that we want to cover?
Today.
I'm trying to think. I mean,
What was that?
there's not much. I don't. Nothing I've seen that's significant to bring up around the NFL.
Sorry, Tommy, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Oh no, I was gonna say I didn't hear anything else from the breaking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we want to go over tomorrow's game.
We're gonna do our season predictions.
Oh yeah. Let's go through our season predictions.
It's gonna be interesting. We did power rankings like a month or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see, if our power rankings, match our seeding, I guess.
Yep.
That would be interesting.
It's going to be hard.
You want to start off in the NFC?
Okay.
Go for it. Who wants to go
All
first?
right.
I'll go first if you want me to, Ben.
Yeah, you want to go through your division winners and wild cards, Tommy?
Yeah, I got you. So on the NFC East side, I got the Eagles as the 1 seed. I got the Cowboys, I'm going through the East predictions. Okay, so I got Eagles finishing first, Cowboys second, Giants third, and Commanders fourth. The South, I got the Saints finishing first, Falcons finishing second, Panthers finishing third, and the Bucks finishing fourth. The NFC North, I got the Lions finishing first, Vikings second, Bears third, Packers fourth. And the West, I got the 49ers first, Seahawks second, Rams third, and Cardinals fourth.
So if you do 1 through 7, how does that look?
So I think I had it as I'm going the 1 seed. I had did I have the 49ers on my paper?
I have no idea, man.
I think this is how I'm gonna just do this. So I got the 49ers first. I'm going Eagles second. I got the Saints finishing the 3rd seed and the Lions the 4th seed. And my wild card teams I got are the Seahawks, Cowboys, and Giants.
Okay, I like that.
All right.
Paul, you want to do your 1 through 7?
Yeah, I will start with 1. One I have is for the first overall seed is the New Orleans Saints. Mm-hmm. We'll get into that in a minute. At number 2, I have the Dallas Cowboys at number 2. At 3, I have the Packers. At 4, I have the 49ers. At 5, I have the Eagles. 6, I have the Lions. And 7, I have the Seahawks.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
I feel like I like where you're going with most of that. Like it's close to mine, except I don't know yet about the Packers. I got to see more from Love, I guess. But I mean, the Saints, that's a sneaky good pick for the 1 seed. I really like some of their moves they had, adding Carr. They got a good roster, and not only that, they have like the easiest strength of schedule in the entire NFL. So that's gonna pay dividends. I feel like Carr having anyone besides Josh McDaniel as his coach is going to help him. 2 years ago, most NFL fans who needed a quarterback would have taken Derek Carr in a heartbeat to be their quarterback. Then he had 1 year of Josh McDaniels, who's never done anything as a coach before. He traded away Cutler, when he got to Denver, basically ruined every NFL team he's been to. And all of a sudden, Carr stinks. He's not good at all. I think Carr, it's going to be very hard to beat Hamlin for it. But, I think in another year, if Carr, got the, the 2 or the 3 seed and had a great season in New Orleans. Like, there's no reason why he couldn't win comeback player of the year, because I think he could have that type of year, because they're low-key loaded with weapons on offense between, Thomas, Olave, Shaheed, the tight ends Johnson and Moreau, as well as they still got Jimmy Graham and Jamal Williams and Kamara. Like, they're a sneaky pick.
Yep. Hey Ben, I'll be back. I'm gonna run to the restroom. I'll be right back.
All right, you're good.
I'll go with my season predictions for the NFC. I have at 1 the Philadelphia Eagles. At 2, I have the San Francisco 49ers. Oh my god, I forgot that was their name at first. I'm like, am I saying it right? The Niners. At 3, I have the Detroit Lions. At 4, I have the New Orleans Saints. At 5, I have the Dallas Cowboys. 6, the Seattle Seahawks. And 7, the New York Giants. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I know the Eagles, yeah, they had a really easy schedule last year, but I just can't see any other team supplanting them at 1. The Niners, who knows how Brock Purdy is going to look after his injury. I've heard in preseason that he hasn't looked really great. So we'll see. The Lions, they are a very hot team. We'll see how they look tomorrow. The Saints, that division is so freaking weak. And I just think that with the experience they have at quarterback with Derek Carr, that's probably the best option to pick. Contingency with their wide receiver room, their running back room. It's just probably the safest bet, and their defense is still very tough. So, we'll see. Cowboys are regular season merchants. When it comes to the playoffs, they're just gonna fall flat. Seahawks, I am a big believer in the Seahawks this year. If not for the Niners, they're gonna be my they'd be the division winners. That 3-headed monster and 2-headed monster with Njigba, Lockett, Metcalf, and then Charbonnet and Walker. That's going to be so nasty. And then the defense, that secondary is so nasty. Yeah, I really like that secondary with Devon Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen.
I mean, if Geno balls out, like, they could honestly win their division.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have the pieces to. Like, honestly, like, they really don't have any huge weaknesses. Their O-line is pretty solid. They got
Bobby Wagner's back.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner's back. They got weapons, all around on offense, tight ends, receivers, 2 good running backs, young running backs. Geno's been playing really good. D-line, maybe, I guess you could say, but I mean, they've drafted some young pass rushers. They signed Draymond Jones. Secondary, I guess, safeties without Jamal Adams, that might be a little bit of a hole until he comes back. But like, other than that, like, they're rebuilding the Legion of Boom basically between Witherspoon, Kobe Bryant, and Tariq Woolen. So, I mean, there's a lot to be excited for with that Seattle team.
Definitely.
I mean, they got one of the best. And for my money, Pete Carroll, I know he made that big mistake in the Super Bowl, but he's still a top 10 coach in the NFL to me. Like, you cannot make a top 10 coaching list and leave out Pete Carroll after the job he did last season and taking a team that no one thought would make to the playoffs last year.
Hey guys, I think Tariq Woolen changed his name to Reek Woolen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Now it's Reek Woolen. Also, don't forget Quandre Diggs.
Yeah, Quandre Diggs is good.
Yeah. So that secondary is they have freaking Kobe Bryant and Michael Jackson.
They got Jamal Adams coming back too healthy.
Yeah, Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams. So
I still can't believe how big of a fleece the Jets did not trade for Jamal Adams. Like
Oh,
they got
jeez.
Garrett Wilson for Jamal Adams basically, and
Yeah.
yes, I think Barrett Tucker as well. Like those are two pretty solid players for an overrated safety.
Yeah.
The only thing with the Seahawks is their wide receiver room is a little thin. They have D. Eskridge, he's suspended, Rashawn Henry and Derek Young. They're both on IR.
Hey, don't sleep on Jake Bobo. I liked him. Yeah, I liked him at UCLA, and he's been a stud in camp and preseason and made the active roster.
He's
So
huge.
yeah,
He's 6'4", 207. Holy crap!
Yep.
But he's older.
His well, I mean, so is Kincaid.
Right.
But his release off the line is nasty. Like I mean, he could actually be a sleeper for their receiver room. But if I'm gonna do my rankings, I still think San Fran is. I know there's questions about Purdy, but even if Purdy isn't Purdy, like I've bought into the Shanahan system enough where I think Darnold could go on a run as their starting quarterback as long as he could be a little efficient just based on the talent on that team. Like their defense insane. So I got 49ers number 1 unless they have some serious kind of injuries. Then at number 2, I kind of debated on putting the Saints here, but I'm still going to go Dallas because I really like what Dallas has done this offseason. If you look at the NFC East history, they don't have repeat winners in that division. And if you look at it analytically, the Eagles lost a lot. I know they still maintained a little bit through the draft, but there's going to be some adjustment to those losses on the O-line, those losses on defense. The rookies have to get acclimated. So Dallas had a very strong offseason. I know there's questions about McCarthy calling plays, but he's really the one who developed Aaron Rodgers, and Dak has played his best football under him. So I feel like McCarthy is a coach who, Sean Payton has always gotten so much credit for that one Super Bowl, but why hasn't McCarthy ever gotten credit for, his one Super Bowl? Like Aaron Rodgers won his only Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy. Yep. So he's calling plays now. They added Brandon Cooks, great receiver 2 option. And I feel like Dak Prescott and I'm not a big Dak Prescott guy myself, but I feel like he's gotten way too much disrespect this offseason from other, not even non-NFC East fans. Like, he's still a top 10 quarterback, and if you give him weapons, he can win games. Mm-hmm. So I know he's maybe had his moments, but there's only so many quarterbacks in the league right now who even have a Super Bowl. So I like Dallas at number 2 between Gilmore, Mozzie, Smith. I think they're going to be a juggernaut this year in the NFC again. I got the Saints as number 3 just because of that easy schedule. And again, I kind of touched on it earlier. I like with Carr. I like Carr on that team a lot. I think they got a great roster. Mm-hmm. 4, I really love the Detroit Lions, and it pains me to not pick them, but I believe the Vikings are still going to be a very good football team. When you have one of the worst defenses in the NFL and you play, basically what we saw in the playoffs last year, that was their defense the whole year, except they had little to no talent. Now you add a little bit more talent, but more importantly, they have Brian Flores calling the defensive plays, and they're not going to sit back at all. So their defense is going to be better than it was. No, they're not going to go 11-0 or whatever in those one-score games again. That's not mathematically possible, but you still have the best receiver in football in Jefferson. You drafted Jordan Addison. They got TJ Hawkinson. They got plenty of weapons, and if a better defense, I still think they're good to win 11, 12 games. And as good as Detroit made their improvements on, I think Detroit comes up just short, but they're one of my wild card teams. I got Philly as a 5th seed, 6th seed I have as Detroit, and then rounding out as a very strong 7th seed is Seattle. Like, so I don't think the NFC maybe is as bad as people say, but it's just not as deep as the AFC.
Right.
Giants, they were hard to keep out, but I truly believe we get 2 NFC North teams this year. That might be a little bit of a hot take, but I think Minnesota and I think the Lions both make it in.
All right.
A couple things.
Sorry, go ahead.
I can get a reason why you guys would sleep on the Packers, but like you look at the Packers, honestly, they have Jordan Love. Yeah, I mean he could have just been a
There's just a
preseason
lot
darling.
of questions on that team
Right.
to me,
I
like
get that.
unproven areas, like outside of Bakhtiari, the running backs, and Jair Alexander. Like that whole roster is just all unproven young players. I know they got good coaching, but I don't see them doing it this year. Maybe they do if Love is the next coming of Aaron Rodgers, but I
So-
think the other teams in their division can match them.
Yeah.
Right. I think I certainly.
I mean,
think the
you saw
Lions are-
last year, for example, right? Like their roster was definitely not any better than any of those other NFC North teams. Like they were struggling even against the Bears, and the Bears were very weak last year. And the Bears reloaded a lot. They added a ton of talent between free agency, all those draft picks. Like the Bears loaded up, and those games were close last year. So I just don't see it as much with the Packers as you. Like, could they win 9-10 games? Maybe, but I don't love that team.
I guess it just might be me, just because I've sat and watched the Sabres my entire life. I mean, I like almost every episode I correlate this. I just fell in love with like the appreciation of young players. Like I think that's where I am at, and like just appreciate them. Like
I feel like don't the Lions have all those young players too, though, between
they do,
Laporta, between Gibbs, between Hutchinson. Like they have
Right.
those young players, but the difference is they're star young players, right?
Right.
St. Brown, Williams is gonna be there, I think, someday. Laporta, like they have the young players, but they got star young players. The Packers, they got young players with potential, but it hasn't. They haven't reached their peak yet. Like to me, the Lions have all the youth, but they got young studs. The Packers, could they be studs? Like I think Reed, I think Love can be good. I mean, I think Gary can be good, but they just haven't hit yet. Let's go to the AFC though.
Okay. You want me to give you my 1 through 7?
1 through 7. Let's hear it, Tommy.
I got the Jaguars as the 1 seed. I'm going Bills as the 2 seed. I got the Chiefs as the 3 seed, and I got the 4 seed as the Bengals. And my wild card teams are the Steelers, Ravens, and Chargers.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
That's like almost my exact. Almost. Well, I have all the same playoff teams as you. I'll say that. All the same playoff teams.
Wow.
Different seeding. But yeah, I'm in a complete agreement. I think those are all your playoff teams of the AFC.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So, Jenna, are you next?
Yeah. For the 1 seed, I have the Jaguars. They have the easiest division in the AFC. I think that they're gonna fly through that. They are more talented than people are giving them credit for. They have those offensive weapons: Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones. Now you add Calvin Ridley. Travis Etienne is fully healthy. Tank Bigsby is a big one too. I think that he's got a lot of potential to be a great RB2 in that offense. Trevor Lawrence will take a next step with Doug Peterson as his head coach in year 2. And then that defense is so scrappy. Even they might not be like the best unit together, or they might not have the individual star players, but they're so scrappy and like they get timely turnovers all the time.
They got some good corners too. Like they're
Yeah,
not
they
household names,
Right.
but they got some cover guys.
Yeah. Number 3 or number 2, I have the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said with the Jaguars, people are really underrating the Bills right now, as we all know, as Bills fans. No more explanation needed. I'm going to shut my mouth. 3, I have the Chiefs. Even with Chris Jones gone, I think that he's going to get an extension at some point, and he's going to start playing again. Travis Kelce, he's banged up right now, but I think in a few weeks he's going to be just fine. Then 4, I have the Bengals. The loss of Jesse Bates and Von Bell, that's going to be tough on them. I know that they have what's his name? Daxton Hill or something. Dax Hill.
Mm-hmm.
We still have yet to see what he looks like, as a starter. Who's their other safety that they got? They got that guy from
Nick Scott. They got the
Scott.
Josh Allen zip armed into the ground.
So that's good. That's fun. They've never had a solidified tight end one. Hayden Hurst. God, what's his name? He's on the Jets now.
Uzama.
CJ Uzama. Now they have.
I mean, they had Tyler Eifert. He just could never stay healthy, unfortunately. Yeah. He would have been good if he could have stayed healthy.
Yeah.
In recent memory, and now they got Irv Smith, and he's always injured too.
I'm just happy they didn't. Number one, I'm happy they didn't. We took Kincaid over them, and he's not there. But even Mayer, I'm happy they didn't.
Right.
They didn't take Michael Mayer because a lot of people had that. You go back to the mock draft seasons or whatnot. A lot of people were making that connection,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Mayer to the Bengals, and all the Bengals fans like Zim and whatnot. They're all pounding the table for Michael Mayer. I think Murphy. I would have personally had Nolan Smith over Murphy. I would
take him over. They
took Murphy over Smith. I thought the Bills were taking Smith originally when we traded up, just because we always take pass rushers. But I was happy we took Kincaid. But I feel like Murphy. Maybe he'll be okay, but Mayer would have been their offense really would have been unstoppable if you had a player like that, because you want to talk about someone who's the next coming of Gronk. Michael Mayer is literally baby Gronk. Just watch him play, the movement, the blocking, very, very similar. He's going to be a very he'll never be Gronkowski just because he doesn't have Brady I guess technically he does. He's the minority owner over there, but he doesn't have that quarterback play unless O'Connell is, the next something, or maybe, the Raiders, I don't know, crazier stuff has happened, but maybe they end up with the number 1 or number 2 pick and they end up with a Michael Penix or a Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams to the Raiders would really be.
I don't know.
That's what it spelled like.
Looks like Phoenix.
Yeah, but anyways, imagine Caleb Williams on the Raiders. That would be insane.
Yeah.
Please no.
What you got? Is Paul next?
I'm not even done with my predictions. I gotta look at my wild card.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we got lost about the Bengals.
Yeah, it's 5. I have the Chargers.
Okay.
It's 6. I have the Dolphins, and at 7, I have the Ravens.
Ooh, okay.
I think the Dolphins are gonna somehow sneak. And Ravens, I might actually want to switch Dolphins and Ravens. Dolphins might somehow sneak into the playoffs again. Who knows how many games Tua is going to play?
Right.
I don't know about the Jets. I really don't.
And what about you?
They might sneak in, but yeah.
But okay, it was Ravens, Dolphins, and Chargers as your wild cards, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then how do you see it, Paul?
This is how I see the AFC rolling. At 1 seed, is it biased? No, I don't think it's biased here.
Not at all.
I think it's not. It's not. I think I'm being serious here when I say it's not biased. You look at this team, the Bills in general, is stacked at almost every position.
What's up, Robbie?
Hey, Robbie.
Thank you, cover one too.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you, cover one. But back to the Bills. I really think this team is good. I mean, you look at they improved at almost every position possible that they can get, and they did. I think their team. You can say the Jags have an easy schedule. Yeah. That's fine. But I really think you come down to the Bills. You say they have a tough second half, but they had a tough second half last year, and they still managed to win 13 games. So I really do think uh, the Bills really hold themselves to that 1 seed, and I think they get it. At number 2, I have the Bengals. I mean, you look at their team last year. I mean, they certainly could have went to the Super Bowl last year, and they could have certainly won it. I mean, I think the Bengals. The question mark is going to be Joe Burrow. Can he stay? Is how long he's going to be out? They could they possibly end up being 1-4 after their first 5 because they don't have Joe Burrow? Yeah, and then does that mean they're a wild card seed? Possibly, but I really think that the Bengals are a good, legitimate team. At number 3, I have the Chiefs. I could be underselling them, but they have. I kind of made this parallel with some other teams. They have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and a bunch of other dudes. They don't really have a number 1 receiver. They're just rolling with a couple. They're just rolling with Sky Moore, Rashid Rice, and some bunch of and Marcus Valdez-Scantling, and here they are. They're rolling into the season.
Yep,
just the guy.
Yeah, just the guy. At number 4, I have the Jaguars. Could they possibly be the number 1 seed at the end of the year? Yes. I don't know why. But all of a sudden, I think they can be that number 1 seed at the end of the year. And they could they? They prove me wrong? They could. At 5, I have the Chargers. They're just talented everywhere. 6, I have the Browns. I think they're that sneaky team that gets in. I think they have the team, but can it come all together? I think it can. And then the Jets. I really, I think the Jets make the playoffs, but I think they're a first-round exit by all means. I really do think. I mean, they would be going up against the Bengals. I think they're a first-round exit. I just feel like just because of the reverse schedule, right? Some of the teams that they get that we don't get, it gets them into the playoffs, gets them that extra win or two that gets them into the playoffs.
All right.
Yeah, it's crazy how unbelievably hard their schedule is despite being last in the division last year. Obviously, it's because of the NFC East. They also play the Chiefs too.
Right.
So we'll see. I'm really excited for Monday night.
Yep.
But Ben, your turn.
All right, so I have all the same teams as Tommy, just in slightly different order. Like Jenna, I have Jacksonville finishing number 1. I just think their schedule, the fact that they have to play the AFC and NFC, they already played the NFC South, or the AFC South. Sorry, but the fact that they have to play the NFC South on top of all their division teams twice, where they should have at least 3 pretty easier wins. I think they should maybe even get 5 wins of their division if we're being honest. If they sweep the Colts and Texans and could at least split with the Titans, but I mean they should rack up wins of their division. They play the Bucks division, and then they also play. I think they play the North. So I mean that might be a little tougher for them. But I think they'll be able to win 12, 13 games. And I think just the fact that the East is going to be a bit more competitive. The North is going to be very competitive for sure. I think, all 4 teams have a really, really sound argument, to make the playoffs with their rosters. I think it's just going to depend on luck, honestly, and how these matchups go, injuries, who's healthy when, a lucky bounce. We all know how football goes. It's literally a game of inches. But I think between the North being so strong, the West is going to be improved with the Chargers being more healthy, Peyton going to Denver, and then the East, obviously, we all know what happened, what's gone on in the AFC East this offseason. So I think Jacksonville secures that number 1. And then number 2, I got Kansas City. And as much as I want the Chargers, want to pick the Chargers here, I think the Chargers have a very good team. I'm not going to pick against Patrick Mahomes again until someone actually beats him, for that division or for the playoffs or whatnot. So give me the Chiefs at number 2. The Bills are are my 3 seed. It's going to be close between the Bills and Chiefs. I think it's just going to come down to maybe like half a game or so. At number 4, I got Baltimore winning the North. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I love what they did this offseason. They added some weapons to Lamar. They finally paid him what he deserves. I think the fact that Lamar has his money now, he's going to play a lot more motivated since he's already been paid. He's going to want to go out and prove that he's worth that, prove that he's an MVP. He's got a chip on his shoulder. And they brought in Todd Monken to call that offense, who I loved at Georgia. He made that offense go. They got some weapons between Bateman, Flowers, Beckham, Dobbins, and Andrews. They probably have a top 5 defense in the entire league that might, only get better with Roquan Smith being there his second season. So, it's obviously contingent on Lamar's health, but I like the fact that he's been there all preseason and offseason versus Burrow. There may be a little bit of rust, and week 2, that's going to be a big matchup. I think is that not a Thursday night game? Like really early in the season? I think it is. Maybe it's not, but
Ravens don't have a primetime game until like week 9 or week 11. So
okay, maybe it's not, but I know there's an early Bengals Ravens game that's I think like week 2, and that's going to be a huge matchup.
Yep.
So I got the Ravens winning that division. I still got the Bengals making the playoffs, so I think it's going to be close. They're my 5. My 6, I got the Steelers. I was a lot lower on them, but I mean, I'm starting to buy into what the Steelers are selling. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing record, and they reloaded, and this is the second year of Kenny Pickett. I was wrong on Kenny Pickett. I didn't think he would be anything in the NFL, and it looks like he might be something. So I got the Steelers as the 6 and the Chargers as 7. Like, I really want them to win that AFC West. I think they can, but it's a loaded conference, and there's going to be some good teams that miss it. I mean, I have the Dolphins, Browns, and Jets and Broncos all missing it.
Yep. Those were good picks, Ben.
I like, just a part of me just doesn't feel right that the Jags just go from the 4 seed and a 10-win team to approximately winning 13 games.
I mean, we saw Cincinnati go from picking number 1 overall to winning 10 games and going to the Super Bowl the next offseason.
Right.
And then they were 11-12 win team last year, and they could have won more had that game not been tragically, we know what happened in that Bills-Bengals game, but I mean, it can happen if you got the coaching, you hit on those draft picks, you got the young stud quarterback with the weapons around him, and you talk about being loaded. Jacksonville is loaded with receiving talent between Kirk, Jones, Ridley, of course, Engram. They got a true good tight end versus I know the Bengals we were discussing earlier. That's something they kind of lack, but they got a good tight end, a good receiving back in, ETN. So, I mean, I think they got the pieces. They'll compete with the Chiefs. Right. Those Bills, Bengals, Jags games are going to be very competitive.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I agree. If they could put it all together and make it work, I think I give them credit. If they get the 1 seed, that's perfect for them. I just don't right now feel like I don't think it's theirs to win. But hey, if they turn out to be a surprise team to me and they win and they get the 1 seed, fine. I mean, they deserve it, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Dominguez just said home run, Tommy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The only thing come playoff time with the Jaguars playing such a weak division, they might struggle a little bit. but they are.
Yeah, but they
their
still
schedule.
play. They still have to play us. The Bengals, the Chiefs. Like you'll get an idea what the Jaguars are once they play us, the Chiefs, and the Bengals.
Right. All right. How about we move on to our season award predictions?
Okie dokie.
Yeah, we're at 1 hour.
I got I'll just go through all mine.
Okay.
We'll just go through all the awards together since we already kind of broke off NFC, AFC. We'll just do all the awards like that. MVP. I got Patrick Mahomes until someone can dethrone him. I still think he's the most valuable player in the NFL. Defensive Player of the Year. I really want to pick Bosa now after he got paid, but I already submitted it as Parsons. I'm going to stick with my initial pick. I still think there's a very decent chance that Parsons can break the single sack record this year. He's a monster, so I'm going to stick with Parsons. Offensive Player of the Year. I will pick a 49er here, though, in Christian McCaffrey. He's the guy that offense goes through. They use him for everything, and I think it'll be kind of the same way this year. They'll ride him to the number 1 overall seed in the NFC conference. So I think, if they can win 13, 14 games and, he's like 1,800 all-purpose yards, he can definitely be the Offensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I have Bijan Robinson. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I have Jalen Carter. Damar Hamlin is my Comeback Player of the Year. And my Coach of the Year is Dan Campbell.
All right. Good picks, Ben.
Yeah, biting them kneecaps.
All right.
Yeah.
So my awards this year, I got Coach of the Year. I'm with you, Ben. I got Dan Campbell as Coach of the Year. I think he's gonna be out there to prove something for them Lions this year. Comeback Player of the Year, same way. I got Damar Hamlin. I mean, why not be Damar Hamlin after what he's gone past year? MVP is different. I got Josh Allen as the MVP.
I like it.
I have him going doing record-breaking things this year. I think he can break some records this year. Offensive Player of the Year, I got Justin Jefferson. I mean, he's unstoppable with the Vikings. Defensive Player of the Year, I got Michael Parsons, just like you, Ben. I think he might even break the sack record, I think, maybe this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, I got Bijan Robinson, other player you had. I think he's going to ball out this year, being a rookie. And then Defensive Rookie of the Year, I got Will Anderson from the Texans.
Yeah, I like Will Anderson. That's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah. For MVP, I have Josh Allen. I think he's going to go on a tear this year. He doesn't have a lot to prove, but, league-wide, for the media, he's got a lot to prove. He wants to get those interceptions down, that completion percentage up. He's going to put up some numbers. Offensive Player of the Year. This one is a player that you probably, wouldn't think of the top of your head. I have George Pickens.
Ooh.
I think that he's going to have a big year with Kenny Pickett. That Kenny Pickett is probably going to have a breakout season in year 3. Defensive Player of the Year. I know many people, Bills fans, don't want to admit it, but I think Jalen Phillips has a chance to be Defensive Player of the Year. He's a stud. Coming out with Greg Rousseau, they're one and the same. They're both really special players. I think Greg Rousseau could be a sleeper pick too. And for Offensive Player of the Year, I also had a sleeper pick, CeeDee Lamb.
Ooh.
He's got Brandon Cooks in his offense. That's going to take a lot of pressure off of him, and I think that he could put up some big stats with that receiving core.
Nice.
And that running game too. Tony Pollard and Deuce Vaughn.
Yep.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, I have Bijan Robinson. Self-explanatory. Otherwise, I'd probably say Dalton Kincaid or Zay Flowers. Or Jackson Smith and Jigba. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I have the same as Tommy, Will Anderson. I really can't think of very many defensive rookies that would be deserving of Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Nice.
Besides, what's his name?
The one Ben had?
Jalen Carter, yeah.
Right.
And then for Comeback Player of the Year, I got our guy DeMar Hamlin. I think it's a given. If he plays one snap, he's playing comeback player of the year. That man could have been
100%.
dead.
Yep.
Coach of the year, I have Dan Campbell. Like the two of you. I think that the Lions are out to prove something and that they're going to get a high seed this year.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing the Lions back to life after what they had experienced 2 seasons ago. Yeah, you're deserving of Coach of the Year, kind of like Brian Dable.
Yep.
I agree. I mean, most of these. For MVP, I was trying to think of a player that's not a quarterback. You kind of look at the trend. It's been quarterbacks all the way through. So I was thinking, who could possibly be out there that could have a honestly really, really good year, and that could possibly give voters who vote for MVP a chance to vote someone other than a quarterback. Like, the Josh Allen pick seems awesome, but I don't want personally. I don't want Josh Allen to win MVP. I want him to win the Super Bowl MVP. I would rather have him win that rather than the MVP because you've seen the teams.
Why not both though?
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes did it last year.
Yeah,
I mean,
Patrick Mahomes did it. Time for Josh to, pick up his game, right?
I guess so, but I went Deebo Samuel for MVP, and it's
I like that one though.
It's probably not going to happen, but if you went on to, like a betting site and you put $10 on it, and if he ends up winning it, I'm walking out with probably a couple $1,000. Offensive player of the year, I think, really, I went Josh Jacobs here just for one reason only, is he had 1,000 yards last year. The running back market's on decline. In order for it to come up, a running back would be awesome to win this award, to try to get the running back market back to where it should be. Defensive player of the year, I had Micah Parsons. I think it's a clean sweep here with Micah Parsons here. I mean, this dude had 13.5 sacks last year, and in his first 2 seasons, he has 26.5. He's on a record-setting pace. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Zay Flowers. I think he's going to turn out to be the Ravens' number one receiver by the end of this year. I think he's going to have an awesome year. Defensive Rookie of the Year is Jack Campbell for me. I mean, you look at what he did in college last year. I think he brings whatever he did in college to the NFL level. He had a terrific preseason. That's why I think Jack Campbell wins it. Comeback Player of the Year, it's easy. I mean, the minute DeMar Hamlin steps onto the field, he has won the award. It's not really, he shouldn't be known as the Comeback Player of the Year award this year. It's celebrating his life and that he's back and he's able to do this. I think that's what it's going to be at the end of the year. And Coach of the Year is going to be Dan Campbell for me. I mean, if he gets the Lions to the playoffs, I think that's good enough. You've seen it with Dable last year. I think is easy for me to give Dan Campbell if he gets into the playoffs.
Nice. Okay.
Any other final thoughts on the player awards?
They should rename the comeback if DeMar wins it. They should name it the DeMar Hamlin Comeback Player of the Year award.
I think so. Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, that would be
awesome. That would be cool.
That'd be so cool.
So you guys want to move on to our week 1 game picks?
Yeah.
Let's introduce it first.
All right.
New segment at the end of each show. We're going to have. I picked out 6 games for each of us to choose from, and we'll just pick the winners of them just for fun.
So we're not just going down and doing like game by game picks for each of us.
I chose 6.
Yeah.
So gotcha.
It's called Pick 6.
It's called Pick 6. Yeah. I made it's a fun little segment, and at the end of each week, I'll tally each one to see what our record's going at, and we'll keep a record of as we go on for the season, just for a fun competition for us, so for bragging rights at the end of the year that we're the champions of picking games.
You like that?
I think we should still do. I would like to each do individual, everyone, so then at the end of the season we could see like who got every game right. Like I think that'd be a cool competition. Like I don't know.
Oh,
like, you know how like around the NFL does it? they pick like all 17 games. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, we could do whatever.
I mean, we can still call a pick six. You want to start with the 6 games though?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we can obviously hash out a different way to do it after,
Yeah, so we'll just go through the 6 games, and then after that, we'll just, run through the ones we didn't do.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's start off with Lions Chiefs. The spread's at 4.5. It's in Chiefs Kingdom. What do we think?
I'm going with the Lions on this one.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, Chris Jones, he's out. He's not playing. Travis Kelce is questionable. Who knows if he's gonna play? Please don't play, so we can void my selection in the parlay. But anyways, all luck to him in his recovery.
It's the way I see it is it's the Chiefs. That's their home opener after the Super Bowl. I'm going with the Chiefs on this one.
Yeah, I really want to pick the Lions, but
I just
can't. I can't
pick the Chiefs on their ring night. I'm going with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bills. Bills went into opposing territory last year and just literally embarrassed the Rams on opening night. I don't think it's going to be an embarrassment, but I think the Lions do get a close win here. I think they win by like 2 or 3 points, but I really think the Lions, just because one, Chris Jones is not there. And the Lions offensive line's awesome. I mean, the Chiefs receivers, I mentioned it earlier, is Travis Kelce and a bunch of other dudes. So how would their wide receiver room going to do? I don't know. I think their offense is going to struggle a bit. I think it's going to kind of be a low-scoring game, but the Lions win at the end. Let's head to the next one. Titans versus Saints. It's in New Orleans.
Saints.
What are we feeling?
Saints. I'm taking the Saints. I think Derek Carr is going to show out.
Yeah, me too. It's his first home game in the Superdome. They got Michael Thomas back.
Olave.
Jimmy Graham is back. Yep, Olave.
And too much for the Titans.
Yeah, they're gonna be too much for the Titans on this game. I know Treylon Burks is playing, but I got a feeling like it might be close, but in the second half, the Saints are gonna start pulling away, and then Tannehill is just gonna throw a pick six or a back-breaking turnover.
Yeah.
Kind of like he did in that Bills game last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, give me the Saints too. I mean, watch now the Titans win. A sneaky early 1 o'clock game is the 49ers Steelers. I just realized it was a 1 o'clock game in Pittsburgh. What are we feeling?
Yesterday I would have said, sorry, Jenna, but yesterday I would have had
you're good.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But after the Bosa news, give me the 49ers. I think they even cover the spread and low-key could smash them. That's how big of an impact Bosa has to this defense. I like where Pittsburgh is going, but they're not it's going to take them a little longer to get there. And week 1, it goes to San Fran.
Give me Bosa. Go as well.
Yeah, give me San Fran. Although, has Bosa practiced at all this week?
I don't think so.
Well,
I think he's been holding out.
Got time. He's got time.
He'll probably start tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Nick Bosa.
Right.
I mean, if Jones would have practiced this week, I think a lot more people would feel confident about the Chiefs winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably. But when
I'm just not picking against Mahomes. Yeah, I get it. No training camp. What's next, Paul?
I have the 49ers in this game, and a sneaky 425 game is the Dolphins versus Chargers. What are we feeling? What are we thinking? Could there be an interesting thing here that the Dolphins walk in and win?
Here, Paul.
Nope.
It's Chargers.
Nope. Chargers.
I'm going Chargers.
I'm taking Chargers too.
Chargers are gonna roll here.
I think so too, Ben. I think the Chargers are gonna roll them.
First game.
The Dolphins, I don't think Teron Armstead, I believe, is questionable. Dolphins fans are not happy with Liam Eichenberg starting at left guard.
And
yeah,
with Armstead questionable, and how that last playoff game ended for the other Bosa brother, I think Joey Bosa is going to be a little motivated. I know he's not Nick, but he's still a pretty good pass rusher himself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like Joey Bosa could be a little motivated to go out and do something in that game, considering, like, we all know what happened in that playoff game with that call with the ref on that 2-point conversion. And then afterwards, I think he got another penalty, and he missed most of last year with an injury. So I think he'll probably be a little extra motivated. But to me, first game with Kellen Moore, I think they're just going to roll them. They got all their weapons healthy. Ramsey is out. Quentin Johnston is going to be a matchup nightmare for defenses on that team. So give me the Chargers.
Yeah, and they don't have the greatest. I don't think they have the greatest coverage linebackers in Miami. And what else? Oh my God, what was I gonna freaking say?
Justin Herbert is an alien.
Yes, and also the last time they played the Chargers, they got absolutely drilled in the butt.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it that far. And the Chargers are healthy on defense now. J.C. Jackson is probably gonna be back. Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. They're gonna destroy that offensive line on the left side.
Yep. Yeah,
Injured
I don't like the trend after the last two picks where we all picked the same, but I'm going to pick the Chargers, and hopefully these three end up being right. But Eagles, Pats. Jenna, what do you think?
Eagles, Patriots?
Yeah.
Eagles. Taking the Eagles straight up. No explanation.
Oh, Paul, I got the Eagles here.
Yeah, I got the Eagles as well.
You know what they're doing in that game? They're honoring Tom Brady. You think?
Boo.
Yeah.
I hope they get shut out then.
I'm sorry.
I think the Eagles ruined the celebration, but does that differ any of your picks?
That's a great game to honor them because they all can remind them that the Eagles beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl as they beat them that game. Yep.
Yeah.
True. All right.
Packers, Bears.
I got the Packers here. I know I don't got them to the playoffs, but I got them to beat down on the Bears. They own that team,
For some reason, this is a tricky game for me. I got the Bears actually pulling this.
Okay. We'll see.
I think.
Oh no, my cat fell.
Oh no! I think
he's right here though.
He finally beats the Packers and they get it done at home.
Didn't they beat the Packers last game last year?
I don't believe so.
No, the Lions beat the Packers in the final week of the year.
I'm taking the Bears in this game.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah.
You're with me, Jeff.
I'm still not a big Bears fan, but I guess we'll see. I got the Packers this game though again.
I have the Packers making the playoffs, but I have them splitting with the Bears, and they lose this one because the Bears are at home. The Bears are introducing something new. And here they are. They're going to win. I think it's going to be close. The last game I have on my list, before we differ with some of these other games, it's the big one of the weekend, probably the highlight of the weekend. Bills going into MetLife Stadium. They're 2.5-point favorites. It's 9-11. New York has this new shiny toy in Aaron Rodgers. What happens? Who wins? Go, Jenna.
I'm taking the Bills. I think that the New York offense is going to be a little bit slow to start. Aaron Rodgers, historically, in the past 2 seasons, he's been slow to start in week 1. He was blown out by the Saints, and he struggled mightily against the Vikings. Their defense, yes, is very tough and has given Josh Allen fits, but in his latest interview and his latest press conference, he said that he's going to be much more careful and make better decisions against their defense. We have better weapons on the offense. Sean McDermott, we don't know what he's going to roll out on the defense.
What do you mean?
On the defense. So, we don't know what he's going to roll out on the defense. So, I'm excited to see what surprises he has for Aaron Rodgers. We played him last year and we made it difficult for them. Difficult for Aaron Rodgers and his little crew in Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard. So Actually, I don't know if one of them played in that game, but anyways, we made life difficult for him. So I think we can make that life difficult for him this year. That offensive line, they might be saying, "Oh, we're healthy now. We have Dwayne Brown. We have Elijah Vera Tucker." Dwayne Brown is 40 years old, and Elijah Vera Tucker, I don't think he's played in 2 years. So with a torn pec, who knows? I just don't think that they're gonna be a threat on the offensive line. Their running back situation, Breece Hall coming off an ACL tear, I think that he'll be okay. I don't think that he's going to be super explosive. So Delvin Cook, I think that our run defense can hold them to minimal gains. Bills.
I got the Bills. Bills winning as well. I don't think Aaron Rodgers can be able to do nothing on offense. He starts off really slow week 1, so I got the Bills winning at least 24-12.
I like that. I got the Bills as well. And I know we're gonna get into this game more on Monday, and I think we maybe just wrap up a little bit here today with a little bit more of it as well. But before I get into it a little bit more, just quickly, I just think again we have the better quarterback. The Bills added a lot on that offense. They had the number 2 offense last year. They added depth in that receiving room, another pass catcher in Kincaid, better running backs. They beefed up that O-line, and we're getting guys back from injury. The Jets, this is a whole new rendition of the New York Jets under Aaron Rodgers, and there's always some type of adjustment in the NFL. You look at Matthew Stafford when he joined the Rams, Peyton Manning when he joined the Broncos, Tom Brady when he joined the Buccaneers. All 3 of those quarterbacks started with a losing record through their first several games. So I believe the Jets are going to start off a little bit slow. It doesn't mean they're not going to be good, but this is a loaded AFC, and I tend to agree with Tommy here about their offense. Breece Hall and Cook are really going to have to carry them this game, which I don't think they'll be able to really find a run game against the Bills' defense. It really was going to come Jenna mentioned it. It's going to come down to Josh, if he's able to play mistake-free football in control possession, which I believe he will after how he played last season. I think he really is going to – a key emphasis this year in his game is going to be to clean up those mistakes and, turnovers. So I think Josh is going to have a bounce-back season. I think that starts with a big game to open up against a team he really hasn't had all that too much success against.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same situation last year. We went up against a really good defensive tackle in Aaron Donald. We went up against a really good corner in Jalen Ramsey. We're going against Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner this year. So, offense with an aging quarterback and supposedly electric wide receiver, So, we'll see. I'm pretty confident in the Bills, maybe a little bit back. I've been debating whether or not I think that the Bills have a chance, but the closer we get, I'm getting more confident.
Who do you have in this game, Paul? Are you going to agree with the panel again?
I want to, I'm going to agree with the panel, but now I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, am I regretting this? Like, every time we go 4 for 4, I'm like sitting here regretting my decisions every single time because I'm like the last person to give. And I'm like, no. And so, yes, I'm going the Bills. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it now. The Bills are going to smack the New York Jets on Monday night.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so.
I'll give you my stats. I'll give you the reason on our Monday night preview. But right now, it's the Bills going into MetLife and smacking the New York Jets.
Great. That's a great way to put it, Paul. I like it. Got anything else before we head out tonight?
I feel like I like the pick six, actually, by the way. Yeah. Let's just keep this up. We can all put let's all make our full picks. We'll post a graphic to Twitter every week or something like that, and just tally up the records, just so we can just see how our picks goes.
Okay.
Wednesday we're obviously Wednesday's tonight, and that's our new show night, by the way. Just, we and I know we announced that on Twitter, but we haven't really formally announced it on the show. But that's our new night is Wednesday, by the way. But Monday, we're gonna do our game preview of Bills Jets. So I know we're gonna break that down a little bit more at 6 p.m. And then next Wednesday we can recap week 1, and then also talk about the home opener on next Wednesday's show. But I guess just prior to Monday's show, what's one key matchup that everyone's looking forward to for week 1? Just as we wrap.
You talking in the Bills Jets game or
Bills
just
Jets game? Yep. What's one key matchup you're looking forward to?
Okay, well, I'm gonna go first. I'm looking at Stephon Diggs versus Sauce Gardner.
I like that one. I like that a lot.
Yep.
You're making me think, Tommy. Now
I'm sorry.
I got Leonard Floyd or Greg Rousseau versus Mekhi Becton. That's my matchup. I'm looking forward to.
That's a good one.
Whoever lines up versus Becton, really.
I have Osiris Torrance over Quinton Williams.
That's another great matchup to look forward to.
All right, so now I have to dig into the bag of goodies. Give me
Kyle Allen versus Zach Wilson.
If this was a preseason game, sure, but no. Give me Spencer Brown against whoever he's facing. I don't know who. I
probably Bryce Huff. That's going to be a tough matchup for Brown.
Right.
Well, no, early. I'll say this: there's a lot of questions about Spencer Brown, but we're going to have an idea early how good he is in year 3 with this Jets pass rush.
Yeah.
Let me sneak in one more too, because this one guy's been teetering around. Like, is he going to be good? Is he going to take a step back? Where is he going to be? It's Deion Dawkins. Depending how he plays week 1, that could possibly determine, a couple of plays. Because if he get the couple times he was beat last year, he held and cost the Bills 10 yards. In which, in some of these games, especially week 1 against a big opponent, prime time, losing 10 yards on first down is a problem.
All right.
So that basically wraps up everything from tonight. Mm-hmm. Matt and Patrick have their show tomorrow night at 7:00, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yes, 7.
And then we're doing a special live episode
next Monday
on Monday, and then we're gonna be live again Saturday. And we got nonstop football through the Jets game, really, because we got the kickoff tomorrow, Chiefs and Lions. We got college football still going on Friday and Saturday, all day NFL Sunday, and then Bills Jets on Monday. So it's going to be an amazing, beautiful, first NFL week kickoff. I mean, last week was amazing, first week of college football, but when we have both, it's even better. We'll see, I guess, the Prime show this weekend again. They have their first home opener in Colorado. A lot of great, interesting college matchups. Texas, Alabama, another great game to watch.
Something we can get definitely Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of great college football going on. So thank you again for everyone for tuning in. This has been the Undercovers podcast, and make sure again to follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.